Hi, welcome to Pursuit and Pause. My name is Paige.
And I'm Hannah, and together we are working towards living slow, intentional, and deeply rooted lives. And today we are going to talk about what we are doing now to live slower, more intentional lives and how we are building the skills we want for the rest of our lives.
Yes. So what were you up to last year? What did you establish for yourself last year?
So last year was an interesting year. I had started some gardening the year before, but last year was really the first year I did a lot of seed starting. I did soil blocked seed starting for the first time, and I really enjoyed that. I did not get as big of a garden as I wanted, mainly just because Jake's house is not set up for it, but I did all the seedlings, pretty much all the seedlings for my parents, and that was really nice. I was able to grow a lot more flowers. So that was a big skill that I learned last year, and I will continue to use this year. What was one big skill you learned last year?
I just tried a lot of new recipes. I just did not get scared in the kitchen. I mean, I still haven't dealt with the whole chicken yet, but I just got comfortable with just cooking, with baking. I'm a lot more confident. So I think this year I'm going to try a lot of new and bigger things, and some that are probably more out of my comfort zone this year. So that was
Another Another project I worked on a lot last year was canning. This was the first time I canned since I was probably in junior high. I
fun.
grew up canning some. We didn't do a ton. We did mainly jams and jellies for a couple of years for 4-H. My
Mhm.
grandma had grown up canning, and done some. And so I went back to canning, and this was the first time I did it completely independently by myself. And I did not just can 1 or 2 things, I canned a lot.
Yeah.
And then I taught myself to pressure can just recently, and so I'm not comfortable with pressure canning completely, but I am very comfortable water bath canning, and I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. Something I did a lot or started last year was gardening. I love it. I had a lot of fun. I grew a lot from just regular seed starting trays, but not a lot of it was successful. I ended up with a lot of tomato plants, like almost 20 tomato plants. So I definitely overestimated that. But we had amazing tomatoes like all summer, and they just kept growing. So, I mean, it worked out, but I learned a lot and learned how to scale my garden more. So it was a learning experience, but it was fun.
Makes a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
The other big project I worked on in the kitchen last year was sourdough. I grew up we did a little bit of a potato flake-based sweet sourdough starter for a couple of years when I was younger, but I had never done a true sourdough. And so I really started to lean into that and leaned into fresh milled flour. So my sourdough kind of encompassed both of those. I am a little bit overly confident in sourdough. I don't hold to any of the fussy rules, but I really enjoy doing different things with it, and especially now that I do fresh milled flour, I think that adds this whole new level of interest and complication. It
Yeah,
just doesn't rise the same way, and
yeah.
so it's just a very different, world, but I have loved working with
It's like a
sourdough.
little experiment.
Yep, it's my fun little
Yeah.
friend.
Something I worked on that was more of like a mental aspect of things was I just learned to find contentment in just life and where I'm at in life, and it was kind of like a work in progress because I kept trying to get the next thing or do the next thing and or wanting to and dreaming about it and wishing I was in this, here and there, and just but I really just learned just this past year to really just find contentment in where I'm at, be happy, and feel the blessings around me, and I just felt like that was really important, because I might have hit on that in the last few podcasts, one of our earlier podcasts, and I thought that was important to bring up because I have found contentment in where I'm at.
The last
Yeah.
random thing I decided to teach myself in December was candle making. I did a bunch of soy-based candles. I just decided it'd be a perfect gift, and off I
Hmm.
went, and that was a lot of fun. That was I enjoy doing things like that where it's something that most people would never try. It doesn't seem incredibly hard, and I have too
Mhm.
much confidence in myself, and
They
off
smell
I go.
amazing.
Yeah, I got to blend scents, and I just really enjoyed it. Well, we went to like a make your own candle thing, and I've done some candles way
Mhm.
back, but nothing with like scent and to that level and blending in soy wax. And I think they all turned out really great for a first attempt. So
Yeah.
I will be doing more of that this year.
Yeah. And I want you to show me because that's something I want to get into as well. Okay, so what are we working on now? What are you working on into the new year?
So currently, right now,
Mm-hmm.
the big things that I am learning is ceramics. So I took a couple of ceramics classes like 21 and earlier. I had taken one in high school, I believe, and I came back to doing ceramics a lot in 20, I believe it was the end of 23, early 24, and I've pretty much been consistently taking ceramic classes for the last year plus, and it's been really fun. I really enjoy working with clay and the variety. I feel a lot more comfortable hand building and coil building, but I really, really want to be a good pottery thrower, and that's something I've been working on. I've gotten a lot more confident with it. I am currently working on my largest scale projects, so that's a lot of fun. I'm making 2 really large vases. I mean, we're talking, like, ideally, if they go to the sketch that we currently have, it'll be about 14 inches tall. And so before firing, it'll shrink. With firing, I think the final I'm hoping for about 12 inches tall
Mm-hmm.
at, final form. And
Yeah.
so I just really enjoy it. I go once a week. I wish I could go more to open studio, but they don't have anything on Sundays, which is really hard, and the only night they have is Tuesday night that runs late, with my work schedule. I can't just, like, pick up and go, and so far it's not too far, but it's just far enough that I can't go over lunch. But that is something that I intend to carry with me, and I'm trying
Yeah.
to learn as much as I can and develop as much technique and skills as I can while I have access to really exceptional instructors, because I know I won't always
Yeah.
have access to
Yeah.
that, and eventually I'm gonna have to figure this out, a little bit more on my own because this is
Yeah.
something I do want to really carry on.
Yeah. And I have your cute cups in the back right
Mhm.
there that you gave me. I'm excited for more goodies from you with that. Something I'm working on is kind of just like a work in progress. It's just managing a household with Josh, like just a kitchen, and just because we are both out of school now. So that's just something I'm trying to find a routine that both of us can get into, and like a cooking schedule. And yeah, just kind of actually now having my husband with me in the kitchen and just meal prepping together, just finding that routine and managing a kitchen and a household, which I'm excited about because we finally have the time to take the time to figure it all out. So,
I'm hoping she'll acquire some of my type A-ness on some
oh
of
yeah,
the planning and the routining, because
oh yeah, it's all in my head. I just gotta go do
yeah.
it. That's where my type B comes in. It's procrastination.
If you haven't figured out, I am the type A friend, she is the
Yeah,
type B friend. We get
very much.
along great,
Mm-hmm.
but
And it
I
kind of works
am
out a good balance.
if you wanna know what the plan is, you're gonna need to talk to me.
Yeah, she'll have a spreadsheet about it or something. I'll have
And
a
it
sticky note somewhere.
Hey, and you're always down for the ride, so it works out great. I can
Yeah.
be as organized and
Mm-hmm.
meticulous as I want to be.
And I'll calm her down.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, a fun thing that I literally did last week was I am starting to do soap making. And this was not on my list of things to do in 2026. I was like, "Oh, someday I'll do soap
Why not?
making." And then I was talking to Jake, and we use for him a goat's milk lard based soap, from Adoration Farms. We love it. It is the only thing that really doesn't irritate him. It's worked super great, but it's not cheap. Uh, Homemade, true lard and goat's milk soap is not cheap. Plus, you have to pay for yourself. And when I discovered that Adoration
Mm-hmm.
Farms sold a soap book that had their recipe in it, I immediately started to do
Like, I
some
can do that.
planning. And a spreadsheet was obviously created to
Of
see what
course.
the cost and what I could get bars down to, and what startup cost would be. And this is something that I enjoy doing, like with my candle making, with the gardening. A lot of this is I am willing to invest in the equipment and in the things that I will need to accomplish that skill now. I have a lot more disposable income right now than I expect to have at various parts of my life. And so for me, it's a twofold thing to learn these
Hmm.
skills now. And so I want to learn these skills now because these are skills that I intend to carry with me the rest of my life and to do, but learning them now when there's not little ones
Hmm.
crying for my attention or needing
Yeah.
me is really helpful so that when I
Hmm.
need to do these things, right, when I need to make soap once,
Yeah.
twice, 3 times a year in the
Yeah.
future, I will be confident in it. I'm not going to be trying to come over the hurdle of working with lye for the first time and then worrying about lying children. I
Yeah.
will be much more confident
Yeah.
and safer doing that. Plus, I will already
Hmm.
have all the equipment. And for
Yeah.
me, a lot of the equipment that you need for soap making is pretty standard kitchen stuff, but you
Hmm.
cannot cross contaminate your
Yeah.
kitchen stuff and your soap stuff. Now,
Yeah.
what you can use is from what I understand, you can use those same things then in other skin and body products, but they cannot cross back into food. So the startup cost is a little bit more, but I have pots that I can use for my double boilers, for candles and things like that, instead of using my kitchen pots and praying that I can get all of the wax out of them, which is what I did this year.
Yeah.
It worked. Actually, it worked because that Dutch oven ended up cracking the enamel and it
Well,
had to go bye-bye. So,
well, there you go.
worked out for me
Yeah.
in some ways.
I love that, and you're gonna teach me how to do that too down the road,
Yep.
just so you know. So get master it now, and then have me over for that. Um, something I really want to master or just get very confident in is sourdough. I want to make a lot of things out of sourdough, not just the pretty loaves you see online. And I'm trying to develop my own like starter, get it mature. That's currently what I'm working on. Um, and it's a little finicky, you know. It's kind of like a little experiment, but it's fun, and I'm learning along the way. And watching a lot of YouTube videos about all sourdough, just nerding out. But yeah, I just want to get into just baking more with sourdough, getting familiar with it, and seeing what I can create.
The last big thing I'm working on is, well, you all. I am doing all the podcast and video editing for myself, and that's something that I have no experience with. Everyone gets a little bit better. I am enjoying that process. And I am enjoying the skills and kind of just the interest in it from recording and pre production to post production. It is not something that is smooth and easy for me, but it is a fun puzzle to
Yeah,
figure out, and that's been really enjoyable and a skill that I didn't really think I was gonna develop, but I have enjoyed a lot.
yeah. Here you are.
Yep.
I really want to get into herbalism this year. I've started going to one of our local little shops that sell like different herbs right now from like I think it's Star West and Frontier Co-op, um, botanicals. They have all kinds of herbs there, and I like to go in and just try different herbs out, make herbal teas. But I really want to get into salves and tinctures and all of the good stuff. But right now I'm just kind of messing with teas, just herbal teas at the moment, and learning what they do for me. And I also want to get that amazing, beautiful book by Kaylee Richards this year and use some of those recipes and just kind of start implementing that into my daily life and consuming the herbs and getting what he needs maybe from them. And yeah, I just get excited about that stuff, and I really appreciate what God has given us on the earth to use. So I want to utilize them, and I'm growing my own herbs in my garden this year, and hopefully they turn out. Right now, I have what do I have growing? Lemon balm right now at the moment. So very excited, and soon I get to start chamomile. So
Yeah,
I'm very
it'll be
excited
fun.
for that.
Yeah. So as we look for the rest of good old 2026,
Mhm.
because we already somehow like a quarter in,
I
which is
know what the heck.
insane.
Yeah.
Uh, what are the things that you're really wanting to learn
Hmm.
aside the things that we're currently working on? What are the
Yeah.
things that you want to develop your skills into?
Yep. Something I want to give more attention to is crocheting. It's something I kind of dabbled in when I was younger. My sister got into it recently and she gave me some supplies, and it just made me want to go back and learn patterns. And I want to start with just a simple blanket because I kind of remember some of the things from when I was younger, but I need to go back and get a refresher. And I'm going to start a blanket soon, and it's something I'm gonna have to watch YouTube and learn and do, and just, you know, learn how to crochet again. And along with that, also basic sewing. I want to just get into that again. I was introduced to that when I was younger, haven't done that since I was probably 12 years old, so it's something I also want to introduce because I think it's a good skill to have, you know, and just basic sewing, nothing too crazy. So that's one of the things I want to do.
Yeah. So one thing on my list that sort of relates is I
Yeah.
want to move into garment sewing. So I've quilted and
Mm-hmm.
I've sewed. I'm proficient with straight lines, simple
Mm-hmm.
things, very drawstringy.
Yeah.
I did a level of garment sewing when I was younger in 4-H, but it was never successful. Like, nothing that I made was worn on a regular
Yeah.
basis,
Yeah.
and so that's something that I really wanna change. I would like to primarily work with some dresses and some just simple pants. I have a couple pairs of pants that I love and that I wear that are like a gauzy cotton, super
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. I would love to be able to draft and build similar pants to that because I like them and I have some fabric that I acquired when Joanne was going out of business that I really want to use. And so that is a project that is staring me down, especially as it starts to get warmer. And I'm like, oh, I would like some of this stuff,
Yeah.
but we'll get there. We will
Better
get
get started.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing I want to get to, which is kind of obvious, is I want to get into water bath canning this year. Obviously, that's more probably like a. I mean, I can start anytime, but summer when I actually have some produce from the garden, hopefully. I'd like to use it, use food from my garden. If not, if it's not successful, I'll just go to the grocery store. But I'm trying to wait on that because I think it would just be a full circle moment for me. It'll be really, really fulfilling. But I plan on maybe spending time with Hannah, and she'll teach me how to water bath. And my grandma also has all of the supplies for me, pretty much, except a few. And yeah, so I'll probably go over there too, and she'll probably show me how she does it. And I'm just really excited to get into that and get into preserving. I'm very ecstatic about that.
Yeah. I wanted to learn this last year and I didn't. I tried once, I didn't make it, and then I
Mm-hmm.
completely got busy.
Yeah.
But I went to learn cheese making. There's a very specific reason that I went to learn cheese making. One, because like cheese is my favorite food group. Like cheese and cake, I could live on for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that would be great for my body. But that's I love them. And cheesemaking is one of those things that I know will change. You know, my hope and my dream is someday to be able to have a dairy cow. I would love one just for milk, cheese, cream, like that. There's
Yeah.
just something about that that I'm very drawn to. But I would like to learn basic cheese making now and to master a couple of recipes. One, because I can then there's some places I can acquire higher quality milk, even store bought milk, to then be able to control the aging process and the additive process of the cheese itself
Yeah.
really appeals to me.
It's very
So
interesting.
that's a big project. That's probably not going to be a spring or summer project. That's probably a
Mm-hmm.
late summer fall project as I
Yeah.
have more time and capacity.
Yeah.
But we will see. I have a lot of the equipment. I have books for it,
Mm-hmm.
and I've read them, and I'm fascinated by them. I know which recipes I want to master. I
Yeah.
have to start, but I have to take some other stuff off my plate first. So
Yeah.
that's something on the 2025,
You gotta
20.
make your pants first and then your fees. um, the last like thing I want to learn for sure this year's, I kind of mentioned I want to master quote unquote sourdough making, bread making. I want to master all the breads. Like I want to just be comfortable to just whip up a loaf of just regular sandwich bread too. I just want to be able to, because I mean that's something almost like not every meal, but every week you need a loaf of bread or bagels or just anything. I just want to be able to be comfortable on how to make bagels, breads, sourdough loaves, anything else I'm forgetting. Even like pie crust, like just anything like that. I just want to get familiar with and confident in. And eventually, I want to start dabbling into, well, I'm going to start looking at grain mills. It's something I really want to look into, but first I want to make sure I'll consistently make bread. So that's kind of my goal this year, is just to get used to the routine of making my own bread, not depending on the grocery store for that too much. And yeah, and just knowing from the back of my hand how to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you all have any interest in grain mills and fresh milled grain
Mm-hmm.
and sourdough and why, I can talk about that for a hot minute.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
rabbit hole that I
Something
fully
I'm
fell
going
down.
to dabble into this year,
Yes.
but
It was my rabbit hole last year,
yeah.
and it is the best purchase I made last year, in my
Mm-hmm.
very humble opinion.
Yeah.
Uh,
Could
I
be a
like
whole
to
episode.
justify all of the sweets now
Mm-hmm.
because, technically, once I add some dairy or some egg, then
Yep.
I have everything that you
Mm-hmm.
need. It's complete
Yep.
protein. It's great. So
Yep.
it's an
I'll have to
enabling
make note of
thing.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
The last big thing on my list is kind of twofold in the kitchen. I would like to get back to feeling comfortable with higher level pastry. By
Mm-hmm.
pastry, I mean croissants, danishes, laminated doughs. I did that in high school. I had a little friendly competition with another girl in 4-H, and we were always trying to outdo each other when it came to 4-H spreads.
Mm-hmm.
So I have made traditional yeasted
Mm-hmm.
sourdough, not sourdough,
Yeah.
traditional yeasted croissants and danishes, and they're great.
Mm-hmm.
I
Sound
would
good.
like to get comfortable making those again, and then also then fresh milled and sourdough versions
Yeah.
because I love laminated pastry. It is so good, and I would like to be comfortable making it at home
Mm-hmm.
again.
Yeah.
Not on a regular basis. It's a special occasion holiday basis,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
it is definitely a project that I want to undertake. And paired with that, I would like to work on recipe development skills. So
Mm-hmm.
understanding the base ingredients in both food and especially baking, and knowing how to tweak and to develop actual recipes, ratios, all of that good stuff, and to feel really comfortable in the
Mm-hmm.
kitchen. I am a little bit overly confident in cooking without a recipe. I would like to develop that a little bit further, and especially in baking, to really understand the science behind
Mm-hmm.
food
Why you're
and
doing what you're doing.
yep, and leaveners and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Understand enough to be dangerous, but not enough to actually, and then also the systematic approach of
Mm-hmm.
how
Yeah.
do you actually develop recipes? How do you make those tweaks? What are those steps that you need to take to come out with the product you like at the end? Because I am not the queen of following recipes. So that is something I will have to work on a
Yeah.
little.
Yeah.
And before we go, I want to talk a little bit about the philosophy of why we're spending time doing these things now. The reason is that one, it really helps in the waiting when life doesn't feel like where you want it to be, or you can't race to the arrival that you want, or because, like, I know we would love land and animals and children
Mm-hmm.
at that place, but we're not, and we're not going to be there anytime soon. And what do we do in the process instead of being frustrated or anxious or wasting all of
Mm-hmm.
this precious time?
Mm-hmm.
I want to make it purposeful and intentional and to develop, like I said earlier, to develop the skills that I know will carry me
Yep.
and to feel confident in things as I go down. Because at some point, I will be able to pull these skills out and it won't matter what's going on around me. I will still be able to manage
Just know how to do it.
and to execute.
Mm-hmm.
And I also truly believe, and this is something that I actually am talking about on my personal channel, is learning for the love of learning. I
Yeah.
think learning is incredibly important and super personal, and everybody should be learning
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And something both physical and mental. You need to use your hands. You need to develop skills, not because they're required to survive, but because your brain and your body need that development to
Mm-hmm.
feel accomplished, and that slow release dopamine and just that sense of accomplishment you get from learning something I think is something that we're truly missing in a world of video games and social media and technology
For
where
sure.
we're not using our hands to our fullest potential, and that is something that I have really noticed as I went from a physical job, a couple
Mhm.
years ago to now a much more intellectual job. I yes, do I accomplish things? Yes, if you count
Mhm.
spreadsheets as things, presentations as things,
Yeah.
and documents as things, but it doesn't have the same weight to it and that same sense of accomplishment as physical things, things growing, things being
Mhm.
made, things that you can make for other people and eat and consume and wear. And so I think that learning skills is so important and can really change your outlook in
Mhm.
the season that you're
It
in.
brings fulfillment to your life,
Yeah.
you know? It
We
does.
we weren't made to be idle. Like
Yeah. No. And think
Adam and Eve.
about these skills that we'll be able to pass down to our
Yeah.
children, you know? And I think that's really important too.
I want to be the old lady that everybody calls.
Exactly.
I want to be the friend that knows the things, not in a
Mhm.
cocky, prideful way,
Yeah.
but in a way that says, like, "You know what? Like, I love to help people, and
Mhm.
if I can help you with my knowledge, and I love to learn, and
Mhm.
let me take some of that weight for people." And I think that it is so worth your time. So we would love to hear, obviously. Is there anything that you're working on right now? Anything that you've learned in the past that you think other people should learn? Or anything that you're really dreaming about trying to learn this year? Because we want to show you on because it is so worth it. And we will have to check in at some point
Yeah. We're
and
just a few months in. Still plenty of time to learn
so
a new
much.
skill.
Pick easy things and build
Yeah.
up the hard things.
Yeah.
You'll notice in our lists that we have small things that are
Mhm.
relatively easy to accomplish and things that are more ethereal and
Yeah.
longer form and probably
Plans.
never going to arrive, and that's all
Yeah.
good, and we love
Yeah.
that.
Mhm. Yep. All right.
Alright. Thank you for joining us,
Yeah.
and we'll see you next
And keep living intentionally.